What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another run here on Sunday Test Drive with American Truck Simulator. Today's truck is the Kenworth K100. Not a new truck by any means. It's been around for a while. A couple different versions from a couple different modders are out there. This one is the Solaris one, and I do have the Pinga edit as well, and that is a lower priority. So it does give me a few more options, which I didn't really put on the truck here, but I probably will from a back haul episode. And they're completely different mods. The Pinga edit is more of a show truck custom. It's really stretched, it's really long, and you know, a lot of people really like that because they go for the real flashy look. This one, I didn't really make it too flashy. These corner pieces are on here. You can't do anything about that unless you change over to the Aerodyne version. But I'll get into more detail here with the options of this truck and the things that you can or cannot do as I head out. I am in Pioche, if that's pronounced right, at the Coastline Mining, and I'm heading down just past Vegas. Looks like a road construction site here just off of 93, so not a long run, 6.5 hours, so it shouldn't take too long. And I'll discuss more about the truck and what is here, what isn't, and, well, just my overall thoughts. Load today is a Mack dump trailer hauling sand, tipping the scales at 41,500 pounds, and I've got plenty of time to get there. 29 hours, I got 13 hours until I have to sleep, and as I said, 6.5 hours is the ETA, so let's get rolling. I just noticed that it's telling me to weigh station bypass service, but I haven't passed a weigh station, so I have no idea why that is showing up, to be quite honest. I like the way these are Peterbilt rims, Peterbilt dish standard style rims with the lug nuts as well, the long caps. So I don't have the spikes on here, you can see. They're just round caps with Bridgestone rubber, and it's a nice look. I do like that look. I know this isn't a Peterbilt, obviously, but no one ever said you had to use stock rims for that truck, right? Underneath the cab here, I've got a Cat 3406, 550 horsepower, hooked up to a 13-speed trans. Now, a couple of different options that you have with or without this truck, and I'll discuss both by itself as well as in tandem with the Pinga edit. The engine here comes with the truck. You got a choice between Cat and Detroit diesel, and that's pretty much it. And I think there's about 9 or 10 total. And when you add in the Pinga edits, you do get a few more. Some pack cars and some more Cats. C15s, for example, with the Caterpillars. They don't sound all that bad. In my opinion, this is the better of the two or four, if you want to look at it that way. But there's no engine brake sound. And with this truck, the engine brake, we know what this is. If you guys watch my 389 videos, that is the Cummins N14, or Cummins period. I've heard on the ISX. That's the Cummins engine brake sound file. So they've mixed the two sound files together. I don't know where this engine sound comes from, though. Maybe it's out of something on ETS, but couple different options that you have with this truck by itself is either this version of the cab or an Aerodyne. Now, between the Aerodyne and this cab version, you will have different options as far as what you can use. The Aerodyne will have a couple, whereas the standard won't, and vice versa. For example, on this one, the fairings or the wall extenders or whatever that block the view to the exhaust pipes, that is on the standard one, but not on the Aerodyne. So those guys right there blocking. So on the Aerodyne, everything's exposed out back. The Aerodyne that you saw on top, not part of the Aerodyne. Now, of course, the Aerodyne one has the raised roof with the sun visors up there and everything, so you're probably not going to be running a Aerodyne in the first place. But it does have those little sloped wings that you can choose from. Not too many choices in fenders. Now, if you add in the Pinga edits, then you do get choices in fenders. And of course, though, those are going to be, since this is more of a flashy show truck type of mod, those are going to be the ground dragger fender types for the rear wheels. They're going to go all the way down to the asphalt, and now obviously you don't have to worry about, you know, damage to your truck in this game. In the real world, that might be a different story. Couple other options here. Really can't do much with the roof lights. You got horns, and that's pretty much it. You do have some bumpers to choose from, and the Pinga edit adds quite a few more bumpers to choose from, so that's a nice little touch with that. But when you have the Pinga edit below the Solaris one here, you do not get the option for the super stretched chassis. The only way you can get the long chassis with this one is by selecting the Aerodyne, then selecting long chassis. And what happens is it basically doubles the size of the sleeper. And so you guys have probably seen those photos where the sleeper was basically an apartment. The same thing goes here. Now, it doesn't show up in the cab, so if I turn my head, you know, all I see is a regular sleeper. You don't see the huge sleeper that's sitting in the back of the truck. But it's there. And that would make for a very, very super long truck, and some people love that. Now, the Pinga one, if you were to put that above this, I would guess that means you do get the super stretched chassis with the regular cab. That's something I will take a look at later, and maybe I'll have that on the back haul. But you know, I'm sure many of you have already seen the Pinga version. That's, you know, half a mile long and tricked out, and with all the lights and chrome that you can put on it. This one here, I was just basically going for a work truck look, and I think for the most part I was able to accomplish that. I've added a couple bells and whistles to it with the LED lights along the bumper. Really no other options for installing lights, so the bumper is about all you're going to be able to do. So, I mean, it does seem like with this truck, and there goes my turn, I'm too busy talking. I did it I did it on the heavy haul one I did too. I always miss that turn. I have no idea why. Yeah, that sound cutout too is rather annoying. Now, the one thing I still haven't gotten used to with cab overs is they don't steer like regular trucks. This thing turns pretty freaking quick. So if you guys really haven't driven a cab over before and you're not used to the ETS, and granted many of us, we haven't played ETS for a while, since ATS came out, it's going to be a different experience for sure. Now, and I also believe there is one other truck that is well, actually two. There are two trucks that are cab-overs in the pipeline. As far as when they're going to be released is anyone's guess. But I know one is a Peterbilt and the other one is a Freightliner. And the Freightliner, I don't know if it's a brand new truck or if it's a rework of the FLB. I haven't really gotten the full story on that one, but it is a cab-over and it is still currently being worked on, and it is going to be a public mod. It's just a question of when. I don't believe I've seen photos of it. I've been seeing a lot of photos of the Peterbilt cab-over. Now, you guys might have seen that in the Steam Workshop as a traffic mod only, and that one is currently being worked on as well, and I believe by Pinga. I've seen him post photos of it, and that one is going to be drivable, but still no ETA on either one of those. So hopefully I do have all that correct as well, because I've been seeing talk lately about the Freightliner COE cab-over engine, and not so much any talk about the Peterbilt, so we'll have to wait and see which one comes out first, if they both come out. Hopefully they do. Cab-overs are really awesome, and it's sad to see that they're all gone, but they're not. Freightliner actually has a cab-over, and I saw one of those new ones actually 2 days ago. And I'll tell you what, it was a weird-looking thing there. It looked as aerodynamic as the K200, if you guys have seen that one. But the grille, if you guys remember Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that was his face mask was almost like the grille. It covered 3/4 of the front of the truck, all chrome. I mean, I saw it in passing because he was heading south and I was heading north, and I was just like, whoa. It caught me off guard. So there still are cab-overs in the States here that drivers can buy. Now, of course, they're not really high demand because you have to have a taste for them in the first place, and they're not the best as far as aerodynamics, because you're basically driving a flat wall, and that doesn't do too well when it comes to cutting through the wind compared to a 579 or 680. So that's probably one reason you're not going to see too many of those on the road. Now, it also might depend on geographical as well. Some areas might have a crap load of them, and other areas not so much. Cab-overs are still hugely popular in Australia, and of course you see them in Europe, but that's because the overall length of the truck is limited by regulations rather than here in the States, where it's just a trailer and the tractor can be almost as long as they want it to be. So cab-over is pretty much the only way you're going to go in Europe. Wow. That dude in that Tesla just turned and cut that other guy off. I don't think I have the traffic mod installed still. I don't remember which profile I shut that down on. But here in the States, the cab-overs have been basically turned into show trucks. I'm sure there are still plenty out there that are daily drivers, but for the most part, they don't get the usage that they used to. You know, back in the late 80s, well, I can't say late 80s, but 80s, 90s, maybe even the 70s, cab-overs were all over the place. And I think I mentioned it before. When I was a kid, I always thought the damn thing was going to roll over on its nose when they were bobtail. Seeing those huge international cabs on there, I always thought if that guy has to hit the brakes hard, he's going to roll over on his grill. But that wasn't the case with them. But obviously, when you're 7 or 8 years old, you don't know any better. But and they do have their own little niche as far as show trucks, and they usually do very well. They usually look pretty damn nice, and you know, they'll always have that piece of trucking lore, trucking legend. Yeah, I probably could have made it, but I'll wait. No, unfortunately, it looks like this mod, obviously, is not really being updated or supported anymore. I can't really speak for Pinga's edit and his truck. I know he still has a hand in a lot of it. I see he still posts photos of the truck on his Facebook page, so it's still a very popular truck, and maybe that one is still being updated and supported, but for the most part, this version here, not so much. And advanced coupling, I don't believe is something that's on this truck. When I backed into this trailer, I think I went 30 kingpin, so I pulled back out and I backed into it slowly, and it finally had caught. So it doesn't look like this truck is really set up for advanced coupling. So it's gonna be one of those things is where you just pull back into it nice and slow, and it will connect. But this makes cab over number 2 I've driven. I've also done the FLB as well, so there are still 3 more cab overs I can drive. The K108, the K200, both Australian versions, and then the Freightliner Argosy. For the FLB, I had driven that one a while back. It's got the Preston skin on it, so I don't rule out redoing it, you know, but the truck hasn't been updated, so just shy of just doing it just to do it, there's really no other reason for it. Now, I had mentioned before with these test drives, if a truck does get updated and the upgrades, the changes are significant, then by all means I will do another test drive with that one. So for example, like the T680, the truck itself hasn't been updated, but there is a new edit mod, well, it's not new, it's been out before, from Kentucky Boy that adds multiple options for the exterior look of the truck. So I don't rule out doing that as a Sunday test drive to show off the options that are available with that mod. We're going to crank this thing over. I'm gonna back up into the road. Alright, let's straighten this thing out. I would throw my four-ways while I'm in here, but that'll cause all the other AI traffic to spaz out and stop. There we go. Parked. Ready to go just in time for the sun to set. So that's going to be it for now, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Hopefully I can get rid of this way station bypass service notice. For some stupid reason it's still showing up. I'll see you guys later on this week for a back haul with this truck, and we'll see what changes I make to it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next run.